When I first moved into Maplewood Lane, I thought it would be a new beginning. The kind of quiet street where you could hear the wind in the trees and kids playing catch in the evenings. My husband, Daniel, had insisted on the house. Perfect investment, he said. Perfect neighborhood. We had been married 6 years at the time. And in the beginning, Daniel had been everything, attentive, passionate, charming. But somewhere between his endless business trips and the hours he poured into his company, he stopped looking at me the same way. Our conversations thinned out. Our intimacy almost disappeared. I told myself it was just marriage, just time, but deep down, I knew I was lonely. That's when I started noticing Ethan. Ethan lived across the street. He was 32, a landscaper, broad shoulders, sun-browned skin, and a pair of hands that always seemed busy fixing, planting, building. Unlike Daniel, he was home most days. I'd see him mowing lawns, hauling bags of mulch, waving at neighbors with an easy grin. At first, we only exchanged polite hellos. A wave when I picked up the mail, a quick smile when he carried tools out of his truck. But then one afternoon, my kitchen sink burst, spraying water all over the floor. Daniel was in Chicago and didn't even answer my call. I stood there, panicked, holding a useless towel, when a knock came at the door. It was Ethan, toolbox in hand. Need help? He didn't wait for an answer. Within minutes, he was on the floor under my sink, sleeves rolled up, forearms flexing as he tightened valves and wiped up water. I stood there barefoot, watching, feeling something stir in me that I hadn't felt in years. Try it now, he said. I turned the faucet, and the leak was gone. Relief washed over me, but so did something else. Gratitude. Attraction. A pulse low in my body that surprised me. Thank you, I said. Anytime, he smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. From then on, we started talking more. Small things at first, gardening, weather, recipes. But then longer conversations. He asked about my family. He listened when I spoke, really listened, leaning in like my words mattered. Daniel hadn't looked at me like that in years. One warm evening in June, Ethan came over to help me carry new flower pots to the backyard. We worked until dusk, our arms brushing as we lifted heavy clay pots, his laugh breaking the silence of the night. After the last one was set down, we sat on the back steps, drinking lemonade, our shoulders almost touching. Daniel travels a lot, huh? Ethan asked carefully. I nodded. More than he's home. That must be hard. I swallowed. Sometimes it feels like I don't exist when he's gone. There was silence. Then Ethan looked at me, not with pity, but with a heat that made my skin prickle. I felt the air shift between us, the closeness, the temptation. I should have pulled back. But I didn't. When his hand brushed mine, I didn't move away. Instead, I let it linger. His touch was warm, grounding, and when I finally turned my head toward him, our eyes met and held. It was me who leaned in first. The kiss started soft, tentative, but quickly deepened. I tasted the salt of his skin, the sweetness of lemonade on his lips. My heart pounded in my chest as weeks, maybe years, of bottled-up hunger spilled out in that moment. His hand slid to my waist, pulling me closer, and I felt my body melt against his. When we finally broke apart, both of us breathless, Ethan whispered, "We shouldn't." I know, I said, though my hand still clung to him. But I don't want to stop. That night, I lay awake in bed beside my husband's empty pillow, my body still tingling with the memory of Ethan's kiss, my lips swollen with guilt and desire. It didn't stop there. Over the next weeks, our connection grew heavier, more dangerous. Every glance across the street, every brush of his hand when he came by, carried electricity. And eventually, the line we had been dancing around dissolved completely. One summer afternoon, while the neighborhood was quiet and Daniel was away on yet another trip, Ethan and I gave in fully. His hands explored me with a hunger I hadn't felt in years, and I responded with every ounce of pent-up longing inside me. It was reckless, it was wrong, but it was also the most alive I had felt in as long as I could remember. Afterwards, lying tangled in his arms, I knew nothing would ever be the same. It wasn't just about sex. It was about being seen, being wanted, being touched like I mattered. Ethan didn't just repair a broken sink, he had awakened something in me that had been quietly dying for years. And though I didn't know where it would all lead, I knew this: I could never go back to feeling invisible again.